What's up guys, Dave here. Today I'm just going to talk about whether I think the Xbox Scorpio will be a hit or not. Now if you've not heard, we did have confirmation on the tech specs for the Scorpio. We'll be looking at 2.3 gigahertz process power, 8 cores in the CPU. The GPU is going to clock in at 6 teraflops, pretty awesome. It's going to have DDR5 RAM and that's going to come to 12 gigabytes and it's going to have a 1 terabyte hard drive. Now they're pretty decent specs, especially when you consider it's going to have a 4K Blu-ray player as well. So the big question of whether it will actually be a success or not, I think ultimately comes down to the price. A lot of people are looking at the Scorpio and going, it's a good bit of tech, but what is the price going to be? Xbox aren't going to sell it at a huge loss, so it's very doubtful that it's going to come in at under $400. You're looking at over $500, and a lot of people are speculating $550 to $600. Now that's quite a lot of money for a computer console, especially when you consider it's coming out not long after the Xbox One and the Xbox One S. I think that's ultimately going to put a lot of people off if the price is above $500. Anything below that is probably going to sell well, but when you think you can put together your own gaming 4K system for around $500, why would you go out and buy a console when you can easily put together the same tech spec, which is upgradable as well, and play the exact same games? It just doesn't make a lot of sense for it to be $550 to $600. I just don't see it selling. You not always have the hardcore fans that pick it up and the guys with the money, but you're really chasing those casual gamers. You're trying to draw back the gamers from Sony. Now you can do that with a much more powerful console, but at the end of the day, if it's too expensive, they're just going to stick with the PS4 or actually just go and purchase a PS4 Pro. So the next thing that it comes to, if it's not the price, it's the games. Ultimately, consoles are judged on their games. You've seen consoles flop over the years because they haven't been able to draw in enough third-party support and the first-party games just aren't good enough. So Xbox will need some strong exclusives, and we're not talking about the generic Halos and Gears of War and Forzas, which may very well be some really good games, but they're not going to draw people away from PlayStation and come over to the Xbox. Xbox really needs to concentrate on either producing more first-party games or more exclusives. Even if they're time exclusives, there needs to be more of a draw to the Xbox than just the hardware. Because hardware is hardware. It doesn't matter what your hardware is. You have to have the software there. And the software in games consoles is ultimately the dashboard, the online experience, and the games. The games is a huge part of that. One thing which is good news for most people, the Kinect will no longer be, well, I wouldn't say compatible, it will have no port. It will be compatible, you can buy the adapter, but essentially the Kinect is finally being phased out. It won't come as standard to the Scorpio, so you won't have to pay out for that heap of shit. For the rest of us Xbox One owners that are sitting there with the Kinect, sitting there doing pretty much sod all, well, good riddance really. I don't care that I can't plug it in because I never bloody use the goddamn thing. What this would do as well, it would stop games from using up some of the processing power for the Kinect. Most of them don't use it, but if some of them do fancy or a little gimmick with it, no, that's just out the window now. They won't care. All thought and processing is on the console and on the games. So we've got to talk about the 4K Blu-ray player. Now, Sony decided not to include one for the PS4 Pro. They're going to stream instead, but Xbox went, no, we're going to slap one of those bad boys in it. You can watch your 4K Blu-rays, which is brilliant. And when you think about it, if you're after a 4K Blu-ray player, that's going to set you up, set you back a couple of £100, unless you want an upscaler, which no one really wants that. You want it to be native. So if you knock off a good 150, 200 for the actual Blu-ray player, the console doesn't actually work out that much expensive. If it's clocking at 500, you're looking at 300, 350 for a 4K console, which is pretty good. Now, one of the good things about this being a mid-generation, not many good things about mid-generations, but all your peripherals should work with it. So all your control pads, I know I have many, they work. I would be really annoyed if my Elite pads didn't work when they cost a fortune to buy, but everything should be compatible. All your headsets, and your pads, any other accessories like your chat pads and things like that, they will all work, as well as your capture cards. They're pretty standard, they'll work as normal. Microsoft are just trying to capture not just all the Sony users and some of the Nintendos. They want Xbox users to be included, and they don't want the price point to be so high that you have to repurchase everything, making it even more expensive. So they're actually trying to be really inclusive with what they're doing, which is a positive, because most things come out, even if it's a mid-generation, it's like, no, you can buy all your stuff again. You can't use any of the old stuff, even though it's perfectly okay. Now, one of the cool things, the rumours going around, is that it'll have Bluetooth support, which is pretty awesome. If you've got a Bluetooth headset or Bluetooth gaming stereo chair, you can hook it up. So, everyone likes to go wireless. It's pretty awesome. When you got wires trailing everywhere, it's never that good. You want wireless. Wireless is for the gods. Now, do I think it would be a success? No, even if the price is a bit iffy and it doesn't really announce many exclusive games, I still think it'll sell really well. I'll probably pick one up on day one. No, if I'm being honest, I probably will. A lot of people will be in the same mind frame. You get all the fanboys which will pick it up anyway. I've got an Xbox, so you don't want to be even though it's mid-generation, you don't want to be left behind. It's either get an Xbox Scorpio, whatever the hell they're going to call it, or go pick up PS4 Pro. You want the better tech, you want the games to play better. No one wants to be left behind, especially when you can afford it. I can afford it, so I'm not going to be left behind. Will other people pick it up? It might be a slow burner at first. If the price is a bit iffy, no, you might not see the sales that you saw for the PS4, and the Switch is selling really well. You probably won't see those, but over the long term, when they can bring the production costs down, and it is that much more of a superior piece of tech to the PS4 Pro and the Switch, even though the Switch is portable, if the PS4 or whatever they call the next console isn't out in the next 12 months, a lot of people might jump ship, because even though you do have a 4K upscaled console, you're sitting there looking at a console that's come out 12 months later for maybe 100 more, and it's far superior. That's going to make people twitch and think, well, do I have any spare cash? Can I trade this in? Can I upgrade? Am I attached to this console at all? Am I going to stay with Sony? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. There's lots of people that will stay just through brand loyalty. We all know people that are always brand loyal. Others will jump ship. So ultimately, I think it will be a success. Like I said, it might be a slow burner to begin with, but overall, I think it's only going to help the gaming industry. It's going to make PlayStation pull their finger out and focus on the next console, bring out a good bit of tech, because everyone likes competition. And Nintendo, the Switch is working really well, but how long will they sit back and just have a subpar mobile device? They're going to want better hardware to come out, and that to be mobile as well. So it's going to be a success for Microsoft, and a success for the video game industry. So if you like the video, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.